Bitcoin's a coiled spring right now. The stakes are high, the tension's rising, the volume is decreasing, Bitcoin's moving farther ahead inside of the consolidation pattern, and a breakout is coming. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, guys, we have a lot to talk about because as you are probably aware, there is a golden cross coming on Bitcoin. There is also about to be a bullish cross on the daily chart MACD, and Bitcoin finds itself deep inside of a consolidation pattern that we have been building for the last 2 weeks and change. Guys, Bitcoin is in a very interesting spot right now. We discussed it in yesterday's video, and we're going to discuss it even more today because I want you guys to have at least some understanding of where Bitcoin is now and where Bitcoin is going to be heading over the next couple of weeks. Guys, you're going to learn a lot from this video. I do encourage you to watch it until the end because I have a treat for you as always at the end of the video. I really enjoyed reading your comments yesterday, and guys, I'm just so thankful for all the growth we've had on the channel lately. Welcome everyone who is new here. There are a lot of new faces. I'm excited to be meeting all of you guys down in the comments section. Later on in the video, I'm going to be also showing you a bearish case for Bitcoin so that you can come to an informed conclusion on your own about where you believe that Bitcoin is going to go. Bullish, bearish, we're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's video. Before we go any farther, of course, though, guys, I do want to mention the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy because, as you guys know, there is currently a sale running on CT2A. That's the May 2020 coupon code. Using that coupon code linked in the description down below, you're going to get $40 off at checkout. And when you join CT2A, you're going to get access to 35 high-quality educational videos that are going to teach you everything you need to know about technical analysis if you want to profit in these markets. Guys, I have said for years, and I still say to this day, that the very best investment you will ever make is an investment in yourself and an investment in your education. I encourage you guys to check us out, the link in the description down below. More on that at the end of the video, but for now, though, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Let me ask you something. I want to know in the comment section down below because I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've been talking about it with Taylor because about a year ago is when Taylor joined us as our editor. Where were you guys 1 year ago today? Were you in a better spot a year ago? Were you in a worse spot a year ago? Has anything changed in the last year? We're going to be talking about that more at the end of the video, but I'm curious here at the beginning so I get all of your attention. Where were you a year ago? And have things improved or have things gotten worse? I want to hear your take on that because things have gotten very much better for me, and I find that to be an interesting topic. But like I said, we'll talk about that more here in a minute. Before we do, though, let's go ahead and jump onto the chart. Anyone who knows anything about technical analysis is going to look at this chart right here and say there is a lot of tension in that market. There looks like there's about to be a breakout in that market. There is a lot of volatility being pent up and pushed together in such a way that it's going to break out and explode here in the next few candlesticks. That much from my experience in cryptocurrency markets is very much apparent. There is one caveat to that, and that is now that the halving has passed, there might be less hype in the market, so maybe there isn't quite as much tension as we think there is there, but there it is definitely some. What do we want to look at in a consolidation pattern? Well, we want to look at tension building. We want to look at Bitcoin testing support and resistance. Where it's testing that support and resistance. We want to look at the volume to see if it's actually declining, and I think that we're very clearly declining. We have one high on volume, a second one, and a third one, all three of them being lower than the previous. And one thing I also like to look at inside of consolidation patterns is what other technical factors are going into the market at the time. One of the most obvious ones is this 50 and 200 moving average cross that we have been talking about and predicting for the last month. Literally 1 month ago today, we saw the 20 EMA cross above the 50 SMA on a preliminary golden cross that will eventually lead to a proper golden cross. We talked about in that video a little under a month ago how you see one golden cross, then you see a second one up here, which is your second golden cross, and then you see the actual golden cross, which is right there. But these two are always going to precede it because, you know, 1 and 2 is less than 3. You add 1 and 2 and you get 3. So there you go. It works out both ways. What this is the 20 EMA crossing above the 200 SMA. When you see this moving average cross, it normally precedes this one. When you see this moving average cross, it normally precedes a proper golden cross. So with all that background on how you can predict golden crosses out of the way, because I figured you'd find that useful, we can move on to our oscillators. As you guys can see, Bitcoin is in prime territory for a breakout. Guys, RSI is sitting at 61. That's perfect. We've talked about many times in CT2A, in many of these videos down here in the technical analysis portion, that what you want to see in the RSI is it sitting above 50 and below 75. Anything in here, this is your bullish territory. This is where Bitcoin is going to be bullish. If Bitcoin's way up here in 85 territory, that's bearish. And if Bitcoin is way down here in like 30 and 40 territory, that's bearish too. But right here in this zone, that's bullish. Add on top of that the state that the MACD is in right now. As you can see, we haven't had a golden cross, and we're actually trending to the downside, but that's because Bitcoin is trading sideways. Let me explain this. Bitcoin is trading sideways right now. What that means is that oscillators tend to reset themselves. That's why the MACD and the RSI are trending back to zero, because oscillators, if you trade sideways for 10 days, or whatever the length of the duration that the oscillator is based on, RSI being 14. So if you trade sideways for 14 days, RSI will be at exactly 50. If you literally don't move 1 cent for 14 candlesticks, RSI is going to be at zero. Same thing is true for the MACD, a little bit different because it's using 12 and 26 moving averages. But the point is, when the market trades sideways, it forces those oscillators back to the center. They're oscillators. They oscillate around the center. It's 0 on the histogram on the MACD, and it's 50 on the RSI. We've been trading sideways, so our oscillators are resetting to a safe and healthy territory. That being said, as soon as we stop trading sideways, that being Bitcoin breaks bullish or bearish, that is when we're going to see some serious things happen on these oscillators. They're priming themselves to support either movement, which means that when we do get a breakout, whether it's bullish or bearish, it's going to be substantiated by a bullish or bearish cross on the MACD and bullish or bearish movement on the RSI, specifically into bullish or bearish territories. We don't need to move far for RSI to drop into bearish territories, and we don't need to move far for Bitcoin to be in bullish territories on the RSI because it's already there. To give somewhere for those thoughts to land, let me put it this way. If/when Bitcoin breaks bullish here, Bitcoin's MACD is so close that it's going to force a bullish cross, and that's going to exacerbate the rally that caused it in the first place. So if we see a major movement here in the next couple of days, we are going to see the oscillators supporting it. On top of that, if Bitcoin breaks bearish, well, guess what? The MACD is already technically bearish, and there's a golden cross coming in, so both of those factors are going to kind of cancel out the bearishness and add more bullishness. So if we break bearish here, we might come to this uptrend of support and break bullish anyway. As I said in yesterday's video, I could kind of see Bitcoin trading sideways and breaking to the downside, even though the technicals are calling for a bullish breakout. Reason for that is because we've been in a rally for so long, and Bitcoin likes bigger pullbacks than 4-day corrections. We saw a 4-day correction right here, and it did reset the RSI. Remember one other time that we saw a 4-day correction at the top of a trend that didn't really result in a whole lot of anything and eventually resulted in the end of the trend? Oh yeah, I'm remembering to the first video we ever uploaded to the channel talking about this pullback right here in November of 2017. We had a 4-day pullback instead of a 4-week pullback, the likes of which we had seen many times in 2017. Right over here, that was 36 days, and right over here, this was about 21, if I remember. 14, never mind, I don't know how to count. Point is, when Bitcoin doesn't have a major correction and it doesn't have a proper, well-sustained correction, sometimes it does result in a bigger correction to come. And instead of resetting the bearish meter from like 100 all the way down to 0, you reset it down to like 30, and then it goes from 30 to 130 the next time, and then you reset it to 60, and then it goes up to 160 the next time, and then you eventually you have like 1,000 hit point bears, and they just crash the market like some video game character. And don't want that, because that's how bull markets end. And yeah, we want a bull market, so no, let's not do that. Yeah, perfect. Anyway, the point of all of that is to remind you guys, yes, the technicals look bullish right now, but Bitcoin has not had a major correction in the last 2 months. I know, I've been the really boring guy here on YouTube for the last 2 months that has not been just filling you with hopium and saying, guys, Bitcoin's going to $20,000. I've been the guy saying, pump the brakes a second. Bitcoin hasn't had a correction. This is not safe. Be careful. Don't get burned. I feel like your mother trying to scold you. Remember what I said in the other video? Not your mother. Point is, Bitcoin has corrected the RSI down to some healthy territory. Bitcoin did technically have a correction and some short-term consolidation. But is it enough? Let's find out. We talked about in the other video yesterday about how I had this kind of gut feeling that Bitcoin was going to break bearish here, and the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to understand why I'm feeling that. It's because we haven't had that major correction, the likes of which you would normally see in a healthy, sustained bull market. So is Bitcoin going to rally here, guys? I think that we are going to rally and we are going to be in bull market unless one thing happens. And that one thing is this. Bitcoin rallies very quickly. It gets overextended on the RSI. It sits up there for too long. Those bears get too strong that there's no way the bulls can build support to support them. And the bears, the people that are in 100, 150, 200, 500% profit with leverage right now over the last 2 months, crash us through the floor. If we're not careful here, and if we don't give the bears their time, and if we're not patient, we are going to regret it. Any of you guys that have been in analysis and working in markets for a long time will understand what I'm saying. You need to give time for the bears to reset themselves, or they will come back to bite you. They will come back to haunt you. I guarantee it every single time. There's not many things that are a promise in technical analysis. That is one of them. If the bears don't have their day, they will have their day. Because something you have to understand is that it's always possible for Bitcoin to go down, but it's not always possible for Bitcoin to go up. That's why bull markets are so remarkable, is because it's very possible for Bitcoin to crash, it's not always quite as possible for Bitcoin to just rally to $20,000. I hope that makes sense. So the point of this video, and the point of a lot of the videos lately, is to, one, bring you technical analysis so that you can do some analysis on your own and come to your own informed conclusions. But another big thing that I'm trying to do here that a lot of people are not doing on YouTube, and I want to be the one to do it if no one else is going to, I want to caution you and make sure you guys are aware of the risks in the market, the rewards in the market, and everything you need to know to be safe in these markets. I am concerned that a large number of you guys are sitting in 10, 25x leverage positions right now, waiting for Bitcoin to break $10,000, thinking you're about to make 100, 200, 300% profit. And you know what? Let me preface this by saying you might be right. That might happen. You might be about to make a lot of money if Bitcoin breaks to the upside. But where's your stop loss? Because you see, if you're in 25x leverage, 4% move to the downside, you're liquidated. We're talking about how Bitcoin might move down to this uptrend right here. How far retraced is that? That's 7%. If you're in anything over 10x leverage right now, there's a chance you're going to get liquidated. And to be honest with you, if you're in 5x leverage, that's still a 35% loss if Bitcoin pulls back there. If you think it's going to bounce there and then break to the upside, ask yourself the question, are you going to be able to hold a 35% loss with the risk of it crashing even farther and liquidating you? Probably not. These longs are through the roof, guys. As you can see, they're sitting up here at 30,000. Shorts are relatively low down here at 8,000. A lot of these longs, I'm betting, are some of the people watching this video. See how the longs are starting to retrace today? You notice that? The technicals are bullish. The trend is bullish. There's a bullish trend and a bearish trend. There's a longer-term bearish trend, so respect it because longer-term trends can easily override shorter-term trends. We talked about that in yesterday's video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go like to 12 minutes into yesterday's video or whatever. The point I'm trying to make here, guys, is that we are hitting our head against $10,000. We are hitting our head against a 3-year downtrend of resistance. Bitcoin has been rallying for 60 days, and there's a global economic crisis going on right now. Not exactly the best conditions to start a bull market, even though the technicals are saying that we should. I'm not telling you to not go into a long position, but I'm also not telling you to go into a long position. Does that make sense? I'm telling you to be careful, and I'm also going to give you a piece of advice because if you're watching this far into the video, that's probably what you're here for. If you were in a long position, it might be a better idea to wait until the breakout and then enter the long position. This is not financial advice. That was friendly advice, not financial advice. It's a different kind of FA. It's not financial advice. It's friendly advice. You can't sue me for being a friend. You can sue me for being financial, but this is not financial advice, so don't sue me. Thanks. Anyway, guys, I think you get my point in the analysis today. There is much that needs to be discussed on the short and the long term on Bitcoin, but that wasn't really what I wanted to do in this video. In this video, I wanted to caution some of you guys because there's a lot of new subscribers to the channel, which means there's a lot of people who haven't seen a lot of my content. There's also a lot of new people in the cryptocurrency space. Tell me in the comments section down below if you've been in the cryptocurrency space for less than 60 days. I would love to hear about your stories, guys. I've been here for 3 years. In about 2 months will be the anniversary of when I got into crypto. July 31st, 2017 was the day. Changed my life forever. I knew in that instance that I'd changed it. It was crazy. If I ever meet you guys in person, I'll tell you the story. But the point is, I think there's a lot of newer people to the space, and there's a lot of people that are not newer to the space that still can easily fall into these mistakes of FOMO and hopium and getting hyped up and saying, oh, we've been in a bear market for a year. I'm ready for this to be over. So I don't want you guys to get burned. Anyway, I've made my point in the technical analysis portion of this video, though. But before we go, I want to talk about something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and that is progress and where we've come from, what's changed over the last 3 years. And look, I, of all people, know that if you look 12 months in the past, you're not always going to see that things were worse back then. You're not always going to see that there's been progress in the last 12 months. I'm very blessed to be able to do that right now, and I've been very blessed to be able to do that for the last 2 years, that things have been consistently getting better. And I understand that a vast majority of people in the world, unfortunately, can't do that, but there's a lesson to be learned in the good and the bad. And what I want to hear from you guys is, where were you a year ago? 12 months to the day ago. Where were you 12 months to the day ago? I can't even really tell you here on YouTube where I was 12 months to the day ago because it's kind of bad enough that it shouldn't be on YouTube. 1 year ago tomorrow, I was at a funeral, put it that way. May and June of last year, July of last year, those were very difficult months for me. You guys didn't see it. You guys didn't know. I didn't share as much on the channel at that time. But they were very difficult months for me, and I've grown so much. And the July of last year is around where Taylor joined us. And she can tell you also, there are a lot of things that have changed in me. I've matured a lot. I've grown a lot. I've been a lot more wiser. I have so much to learn, but I've definitely made progress. And there's value in that. There's value in looking back and saying, what have I changed? What has changed in the last year? What's gotten better? What's gotten worse? How can I improve on the things that haven't gotten better? The things that have gotten better, how can I think about those and make sure that we continue on the path of improving the things that have gotten better? A wise man once said, those who cannot learn from the past are condemned to repeat it. I don't remember who said that, but I remember in 8th grade, I was in Mr. Dura's class. Shout out to Mr. Dura, wherever he may be. He was an awesome teacher. He was a history professor. One time, a friend of mine that I'm friends with to this day raised his hand and said, "Mr. Dura, why did the Asians never try to colonize North America in the same way that the Europeans did?" And Mr. Dura just looked him dead in the eye in front of the whole class and said, "They tried to in 1941, but it didn't work out so well for them." And I died. I was on the floor. That was hilarious. Anyway, with Mr. Dura, he told me to repeat that quote in class. "Those who cannot learn from the past are condemned to repeat it." He's a history professor, so he loved that quote. History teacher. In middle school, you don't have professors, you have teachers. So he's a history teacher. If you guys are watching this video and you want a piece of my advice, what I want you to do is I want you to spend today thinking about where were you 12 months ago, 24 months ago, 36 months ago, 72 months ago. Where were you? What was your life like? Were you excelling at the things you were doing in your life? Were you working hard? Did you have a strong sense of where you were going in life? Did you have a strong sense of purpose? How were your relationships? Don't just think about work. Think about all of it. Where were you a year ago? Have things gotten better? Have things gotten worse? If they've gotten better, good. Pat yourself on the back and then start looking for how things have gotten worse, because I guarantee you not everything has gotten better in the last year. And if it has, think about how they can be even better. Guys, a love of self-improvement is one of the things that is going to drive a strong sense of enjoyment, fulfillment, and contentedness and happiness in life. And if you have that burning passion for improving yourself every day, I promise you that will be a gift from God, and you will have a much better life because of it. Find a passion for improving yourself, and you will find the keys to everything. That's a promise. So guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it out for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. But before we go, I do just first want to mention one thing, and that would be the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. This has been a great month, and I'm really excited about it because all of you guys joining CT2A is just amazing. I love hearing your testimonies about how much you're learning from the Academy. And also, guys, one thing I'm really excited about is that we're going to be doing a lot of expansion relatively soon. We're talking about hiring some new employees. We're talking about building out a set and a new office we're going to be moving into. There are so many things going on behind the scenes on this channel right now. So much growth going on that's going to allow us to bring you even more high quality content than ever before. And it is CT2A that makes that possible. Guys, we don't take any sponsorships. If you go through our email, there are literally about 1,500 sponsorship offers. We've gotten 4 or 5 in the last 24 hours. I've never taken one of them. I'm thinking about taking one of them because I like the sponsorship offer, but I'm not sure. I'm going to ask you guys' opinion before I do that. But never once have we taken a sponsorship. Not one time. We've never received $1 from any sponsor because I don't want my credibility mixed up with anyone else's, because I take it very seriously. CT2A and the first cohort and ad revenue are the 3 things that make this channel possible, allow me to pay my payroll, Taylor's payroll, support the little home office that we have here, make expansion plans. Like I said, we're going to be hiring out a full team to help build out this channel and build out more quality content for you guys. And that is all possible because of the amazing people that have joined CT2A and who are learning every single day. Guys, if you want to learn technical analysis, there are 2 ways to do it. I've said it in many videos before. You can do it the hard way. You can try and learn it all on your own. I've heard about people doing that. That's what I did. I'm not going to sit here and be some kind of sleazy salesman and tell you that it's impossible and you can only go through our program or you're never going to learn it. I'm not going to say that. You can do it on your own. I believe in you enough to tell you that to your face while I'm trying to sell you something. I believe sales should be one of the most honest industries, not one of the least honest industries, and I plan to change that. But the fact of the matter is, it's much more difficult to teach yourself these things on your own. It took me working in these markets every single day 2 years to learn all of this stuff in technical analysis. If I were given a program like this when I first joined the space, they didn't really exist back in 2017, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. And the reason is because it's going to shave down on months, if not years, of learning curve. And by the way, guys, think about the last time that you tried to learn something. For example, see that piano back there? I don't play it a whole lot anymore because I lost my motivation because I wasn't making a lot of progress. That happens a lot. My violin is sitting... No, it's not over there. It's over there. I haven't played it much lately because I keep losing progress. You know what the problem is? I don't have a teacher to lead me in the right direction, to teach me how to play the violin, to teach me how to play the piano, to teach me how to sing better, which is something I want to learn how to do. If I had a teacher, I would be pretty good at all 3 of those things right now, but since I never invested in one, I'm not. It is difficult to teach yourself things that are as complicated as the violin, or the piano, or singing, or technical analysis. If you want to profit in these markets, and I know you do, or you wouldn't have watched something like 20 minutes into this video, it's going to be very helpful for you if you'll allow me to help you get to this position. I and the community that we build here can help guide you into becoming a technical analyst who is worth their salt and who is able to trade profitably in these markets. The link for CT2A is in the description down below. As I said, guys, there are 35 videos in here going over everything from the very basics. If you're newer to the markets and you don't know a whole lot, that's perfectly fine. This course was designed to incorporate a lot of high-level advanced skills while also catering to the newer investors in the space. I almost said the newer players in the space. The newer investors in the space. I guess you're a player in the space too. Welcome to the game of technical analysis, I suppose. I designed CT2A so that it was able to cater to the beginners because I know a lot of you guys who are going through the academy have just started in the department of technical analysis. You're going to go through the introduction to get everything out of the way that you're going to need. You're going to go through the technical indicators so you can learn how they all work in one cohesive way instead of having to search all over Google for how every single part of every different technical indicator works. And then you're going to go through technical analysis and learn everything you need to know about doing the actual technical analysis. This is the foundation. This is the application. Before you join, I would love for you to get some testimony from our own students. You can look in the comment section of this video and yesterday's video and the video before that and a lot of the videos on the channel. You can join our Discord server and talk to some of our students and see what they have to say. I'll tell you what they're saying. Feel free to go and check with them. It's an amazing academy, and you're going to get a lot of value out of it. And by the way, we do have a full 14-day money-back refund guarantee, and yes, we do accept Bitcoin payments, so says the sign behind me. Guys, I'm really excited about this year, and I think a lot of good things are going to come to Bitcoin this year. No pandemic, no anything like that is going to stop me from having a good year, and hopefully you guys have the same mentality. I want to make sure you guys have a good year also, and a great way to have a great year is to learn technical analysis. If you knew my story, believe me, you would agree with that statement. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for this video. Wow, the raw file for this is already over 30 minutes long. I feel bad for Taylor. All these long videos, I don't know. I'm sorry, Taylor. She'll live. She's doing a great job. Give a round of applause in the comment section for Taylor, our editor. She's doing amazing. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel when you do that, and I'd be very appreciative if you did. But for now, though, guys, that is going to have to wrap it for this video, as I said. But until next time, I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.